Good morning, good afternoon, exporters, wherever you are today. Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar today, all dedicated to AI. We're all a bit AI out already. We've heard so much about it over the past few months, but we wanted to dedicate a moment today to really look at how AI is here. It's here to stay. It's here to shape the future, and we wanted to share with you some background information and then help you navigate some strategy that will very much help you grow your sales, grow your export sales, all online through your website and social media. So thank you for tuning in today. As we get started, before we dive into the agenda for today, and you can see we've got a few more people joining us and logging on, I have the pleasure to introduce the team that's going to be with us today. So thank you so much to Rita Ben-Hadda, Senior Line Marketing Manager with IBT Online, and Susanna Hardy, Chief Content Officer at IBT Online. And my name is Joella Zarotto, Marketing Director. We are excited to be sharing with you. We've got a bit of a packed agenda for today, a lot of information to share. But before we dive into that, just very much two quick words about ourselves. So at IBT Online, we are a US company. We cater for the North America, so US and Canadian company. We are 100% focused on helping small and mid-cap companies really get and master the online tools they need. So website and online marketing, AI very much falls into our remit, and we're very excited about it, with the goal to help you grow your business globally. So we have designed what we call the online global programs that are dedicated programs that support, as we said, businesses grow your export, grow your sales, grow your brand, and then eventually, grow your business. Very much focused on the online world, and we'll see what that means a little bit later today. But without further ado, just diving into the agenda for today. So we'll be covering a little bit more about a bit of context, setting the scene on how the AI, big tech boom, how it's been developing, and, what's the progression been and what that means for marketeers. So AI for marketing, how this is used, and then very much moving on to some practical tips about how you can make the most of these platforms, but also some important, top tips on what to watch out for, how to use it, and some limitations that you have to bear in mind. And then at the end of today's webinar, we want to just share some takeaways, some next steps, and most importantly, have some time for questions. So please do have the question rolling in. We have a chat function and a Q&A function on the webinar platform. So keep them coming throughout the webinar, and we'll try to see if we can answer them. Otherwise, we'll curate them for the end of the webinar. We'll also have a couple of polls just to get some engagement and to get to know a little bit who we've got with us today, and very much be able to tailor, our responses to your question based on the audience. But getting things started, I'll hand over to Susanna Hardy to get us, started with the context and talking a little bit more about AI and the tech boom. Susanna.
Thank you, Joelle and Rita, and I'm delighted to be here with you all today, and welcome everybody. So let's start in talking about the AI tech boom. In fact, let's say AI is the buzzword of 2023, but it's worth remembering that it's been actually with us for a long time. Nearly 100 years. Alan Turing wrote about sort of an abstract paper about computing machines back in like 1935. In 1947, he was basically looking at generative AI. He was talking about machines that can learn from experience. That was in 1947. In 1950, he then developed something called the Turing test, which there are three participants: a computer, a human interrogator, and a human foil. The interrogator attempts to determine, by asking questions of the foil or the computer, which is the computer. All communication is via keyboard only, and the interrogator can ask any question he wants, and the computer can be devious, so it can say no, it can lie, it can give incorrect answers, and the foil is supposed to help the interrogator. Not one AI platform has yet passed the Turing test. So to date, no one has passed, or no system has passed the full Turing test. This year, 2023, because of ChatGPT and the new AI developments, people are starting to re-talk about this and saying, hey, what is this? So AI has basically been developed in tandem with power, with computing power and complexity. It's now used in absolutely all of our lives. But the real question remains about the defining intelligence. Let's leave that to philosophers, policymakers, computer generators, whatever. Let's talk specifically about how marketeers can use AI, and specifically how companies can use tools to help grow their sales. Now, AI is all around us. It's already an absolutely integral part of our lives. I mean, Alexa's continuously speaking to me without even warning. Joelle's car parks parallel parks for her. Facial recognition for passports, it's everywhere. Business has actually been a bit slow to take it up and really implement full AI. A lot of valid reasons. It's kind of tough, it's hard, long implementation times. So it's often easier to put those investment dollars aside. But if we look at outcomes and how AI can help, it looks actually pretty compelling. All those particularly when you look at the very menial, repetitive tasks, which anyway tend to, where attention drifts and errors start to happen. That's where we're starting to talk about how AI can be a real boost to productivity and can be easily integrated into business processes, particularly, notably, for marketing. So as I mentioned earlier, AI, generative AI is absolutely the buzzword. I mean, you've got to be living under a rock not to be heard about ChatGPT. It has basically doubled in valuation to 29 billion at the moment, OpenAI, in the last sort of 16 months. And then this chart here of, number of days it took to reach 1 million, number of days it took to reach 100 million, that sort of thing. We've seen this everywhere, but it is worth remembering how fast it is. And it seems to us that generative AI, like ChatGPT, generative AI, the time has come. We all had a lot of AI. There is a lot of AI, but somehow this is the technology for the time, it seems to us. Experiencing AI tools, advanced prompt engineering are really becoming like an in-demand skill in marketing. And AI is opening up whole new sections for dedicated roles for marketeers. So it's a whole world of insights, ideas, and time saving on that. Now, AI, marketeers were very early adopters of AI. They in a sense, they were leaders already seeing the power of AI technology for business growth. It kind of makes sense if you think that marketing is all about analyzing data, creating the right marketing event, the right blog, the right tweet, the right LinkedIn ad at the right time for the right audience. So data plus targeting is at the core of marketing and is absolutely made for AI. So that's really why I think AI would fit so well with marketeers and now defines marketing in a way that we haven't seen before. So which AI apps do marketeers use? Well, there's hundreds, thousands. There's I put a screenshot there of the 27 most popular AI tools so far this year, but there are literally thousands. And the number of the ones that have been created in the last few months has actually exploded as well. It has seeped into every possible angle and aspect of marketing. There is an app or a plugin or a program for everything in marketing. And one important aspect of marketing is knowing which platform to use today. And marketeers are like, well, do I use this one or this one? So I have to know the strengths and weaknesses of each platform, how it can integrate with other processes in my marketing toolkit, and how do I have a holistic view of the entire client or the entire campaign, or what the key performance indicators for my client to take those strategic marketing decisions. So let me turn over to Joelle and then to Rita to run us through some of those platforms and how best to use AI to grow your sales and marketing business. But before we do that, I want to launch a quick poll. I want to see, how are you already a keen AI user? Yes, you've been using it for years. No, I'm still just tapping around and experimenting. Yes, we'd like to, but I don't know how to get started. Or else the final one, AI what? And thank you all very much. Round of applause, the audience, everyone. Slap on the back, everyone. Thank you all. Vast majority of you have voted already. Let me give you some quick feedback. Very few of you have been using AI for years, a small handful. The vast majority are, actually split, still just experimenting, or a lot of you need some help getting started. We're very happy about need help to getting started. We're here for that. We're here for you. I'm going to close the poll, but again, thank you all so much for voting on that. There's one or two other little polls. Then turn back to Joelle. Take us through some examples.
Thank you so much, Susanna. Just 20 years ago, artificial intelligence existed mainly on the pages of science fiction books, comic books, and movies. However, the world is developing with constant acceleration, the equal to the acceleration of free fall. So today, AI is part of everyone's routine's life. AI is everywhere in our interactive maps with your location function, the translators, messengers, and our favorite social networks. So AI in marketing may feel more like science fiction than fact to many, but it's not a far off concept. It's here right now, and according to Salesforce, so that's a very interesting data that we have here, just 29% of marketing leaders used AI in 2018, which surged to 84% by 2020. So it's no surprise that the global value of AI marketing is set to climb from $12 billion in 2020 to an eye-watering $108 billion in 2028. If you haven't considered the power of AI for marketing, now is time to learn more. So, ways to use AI in marketing. With so many potential digital points and paths to brand awareness and eventual conversions available, so finding ways to better connect with your consumers is a challenge that many businesses face in 2023. So companies across industries and around the world are experimenting with AI technologies to enhance their sales, operations, and consumer services. So it follows that marketers are also embracing AI to engage with the target audience. But what are the best way to use AI in marketing? So the first thing is AI for ad optimization. So if we can all improve performance using AI-powered solution, how can you differentiate and stand out from your competitors? Your knowledge of your customers and your business are key factors in guiding AI to success and improving your cross-channel bid strategy. So it's a virtuous cycle. You can multiply your results and marketing expertise with AI. And at the same time, AI learns from you. And that's your secret sauce to increase results is provided with these 5 main steps. So the first one is to define your goals. Use good quality data, choose the right AI tools, choose the right metrics, and finally, monitor and analyze. So when we look at how people are actually using generative AI, it's mainly to get ideas, outline and first draft. And if you've ever tried to get AI to write a publish-ready article or social post, you know it's just not going to be like quite good. When using generative AI to write a copy, just 5% of marketers use it to write an entire pieces of content for them, while 1/3 of generative AI users lean on it to get ideas or inspiration, and another third use it to get an outline down. So meanwhile, just 25% use it to write a few paragraphs that they would need to expand on. So AI is a great way to get the ball running when brainstorming, tools like ChatGPT, Jaspers, etc., they quickly parse all the information available online and they present it in a conversational fashion, making it incredibly easy to digest. So rather than clicking around on several Google results and scrolling past ads and media, etc., to get to what you want. So AI tools help marketers find the most relevant information and they present it clearly. So of course, these tools are far from perfect and they can often provide incorrect information, but as a starting point and as a way to get ideas rolling and acquire basic knowledge on a new topic, AI is both easy and fun to use. So if you come across a good idea, use it. It's about stumbling across a brilliant idea and bringing it to life in your work. It's about finding a new strategy and applying it in your own goals. So the application of ideas will always be more powerful than the ideas themselves. So the best inspiration comes from the application of ideas, not the conception of them. So here we have some pros and cons of AI generated content. So while it sounds like the perfect solution for your marketing plan, you should always consider the advantage and drawbacks. So pros, we have quick turnaround. AI, it provides almost immediate results for speedy content creation, no matter if the subject is simple or complicated. It's cost effective because AI can make content at a fraction of the cost of a full-time freelancer. No writer's block. There are a lot of pressure to develop new ideas and it becomes even more daunting with a deadline. So using AI generated content, writers don't have to worry about like getting behind as it can generate multiple ideas for you to work from one entry. And then we have the cons. Plagiarism concerns. AI can make content at a fraction of the cost, etc. But we've seen that Google, for example, has talked a lot about the plagiarism and all the things that it can generate and the potential devaluation by Google. So Google also introduced a new concept. It's called EEAT to help to its helpful content update. So EEAT stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. So amidst the rise of AI writing tools, the search engine will evaluate content through the lens of understanding and trust at the concept center. So AI-only content may not fit this criteria if left unaltered. And then the other thing that we have as well is inconsistent quality. So those that begin using AI-generated content may receive a different level of quality each time. The amount of available information on topics will vary based on how much relevant content about each subject exists. This means you won't have a consistent output of informative content across all the subject matter you're interested in. Just to conclude on this slide, I would say that AI is an imperfect solution. Even the world's best writers may find themselves needing a helping hand here and there. So AI-generated content can help fill that need, but it has its drawbacks. You shouldn't entirely rely on AI for content. Instead, I would say use it to help your business grow in a way that still incorporates your own creativity too. Finally, we have AI for SEO. So search engine optimization is a critical aspect of digital marketing. And the use of AI technologies like ChatGPT, Jaspers, etc., it can help search marketers improve their SEO efforts. But you will have to do a few details that needs to be taken into consideration. So by providing an SEO AI tool with a topic or a keyword, it can generate an article or blog post that could potentially be optimized for SEO. Any valuable AI tool can be a valuable tool for search marketers in the process of content creation for their website or for their blog. It can help generate high quality, unique content. And here are a few ways that AI can assist in content creation. So it can generate a complete article on a given topic or keyword, but that doesn't mean that you will have the keywords with the right volume on the country that you're targeting. Same goes with product descriptions, meta descriptions, generating headlines, etc. Anything that involves SEO. So my point is, AI tools such as Jaspers, LEAI, Ink, just to name a few, they can help you with the idea of the content. It can help you generate a draft, but it will never be the final work, simply because the keywords suggested by AI tools are probably not 100% relevant to your target audience. They're probably not relevant to the country you're targeting, and probably not the right volume. So you'll always have to do that manual work as well. And then I'll hand it over to my colleague Joelle to cover the AI for social media.
Rita, thank you so much. And absolutely diving straight into social media. I'm sure we've all been trying to, develop a social media calendar and looking at, how else can we promote this product? How else can we talk about our services? AI has been, and we'll see this in a little bit more detail a little bit later in advertising, but also for organic social media, AI has been and will continue to become a very, very important and clever tool for social media marketers. Just to give you some figures before we dive into the how AI is used in social media, global AI in these platforms is projected to reach 2.2 billion by the end of this year. And this would give it a global growth rate of nearly 30% year on year. So here we see, started back to 2018, as Susanna mentioned, AI is very much at the forefront of our conversations now, but has been around for a long time. But it wasn't really that prominent. It wasn't really that developed. It wasn't accessible to everyone. It wasn't an extension to your Google Chrome. So I want to say, whilst social media campaigns are inherently unique, and as Rita was mentioning, keep using your creativity. That's what everything stems from. But some social posts are actually meant to tackle a simple objective, and those are the ones AI tools can help with. We know that content tailored to each social media site performs better, as opposed to just posting the same thing verbatim across all your platform. LinkedIn, Twitter have different, characters, but also have different visualization. You need to be mindful of that. It can be time consuming to rephrase each post, to find new ways of getting the similar point across to your various audiences. But this is how AI can help make this process quicker. So social media users are generating volumes of data that needs to be analyzed. And that's another way AI can really, really come in to help. And we'll see an example of that over the next couple of slides. But overall is this increasing demand of being on social media, of using it as a business tool. And if you've seen any of our webinars, you know that we're a strong advocate of how social media can help grow your business globally. And here we wanted to share some ideas on how you can use AI in social media. So just a couple of numbers from Statista. The number of active social media users worldwide is closer to 5 billion. 4.2 last year is closing into 5 billion, spending an average of 2.5 hours per day, daily on social media. Along with this growth in social media users, the need for AI solution to not just use AI, but also understand the customer preference is rising. So with the AI market in this space expected to reach, as we said, nearly 3.8 billion by 2028 on social media alone. So AI, we said, can help with social media posting, but writing a copy, it really is just one of the tasks amongst a lot of others that you need to have a successful social media strategy and be successful across your platform. So these tasks could be conceptualize your idea. So what do you want to put across? What kind of topics are we looking at promoting? Validate the relevance to your target audience. Designing the post, so as we said, it could be something like understanding the length of the post, but also what graphic goes with it, what's worked better with your audience, and then writing the post itself, but also ensuring that your scheduling is optimized. Put it bluntly, put it simply, that they go out at a time that your audiences are ready to engage with it. So all of that can be a lot to take on in one market. And if you start expanding globally, where you have different time zones, different languages, different cultural awarenesses that you need to be aware of, all of that can become a little overwhelming. And this is where AI really can help. So you always want the social media post to reflect your brand correctly. So you do need to spend a little time getting to know the platform, getting to know your AI tool that you're using, and really providing it with context around who you are, what you do, and what your audience is usually looking for. Take it as a little bit of a, AI training. Generative AI, there are tons of different uses for it and social media. And again, as we said, these are just a few. There is a lot more that you can do, and we'll dive into some other example. But I just really want to stress here that whilst this is here to help, make sure that you review everything, make sure that you validate everything. As Rita mentioned, this is a fantastic starting point for your social media calendar, but always make sure that as AI, the AI will learn, you will learn how to work with it, and then we'll all get better at working the prompts. But I just want to stress that there is that human validation and the human starting point that no AI will ever be able, hopefully to an extent, to take away. We mentioned data, we mentioned how social media, or how AI, can help beyond the scheduling, beyond the copy of social media. Well, another great tool or another great example where AI really can help is what's called the sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis relates to the methods, the techniques and processes used to retrieve information about how consumers perceive a specific product, a service, or a brand. At IBT Online, we have partnered with a company called Sprout Social, and we use this to understand and analyze sentiment, behind or as a response to specific social media campaigns that we run. But a tool for sentiment analysis really just uses machine learning algorithm to gather huge amount of data about consumer attitude and really evaluate and put it in a way that it's quite simple to analyze. There is a lot more reporting behind this. This is just an example I particularly liked. But evaluates the emotional state of a consumer, how they react. And in marketing, most companies turn to sentiment analysis through customer service and social media monitoring. So digital really is allowing everyone to form opinions very quickly and share those thoughts very quickly on this channel. So as a brand is engaging with your prospects and with your customers, even your existing customers, you really now have the opportunity to use this data to analyze AI instantaneously, to learn how your consumers are reacting, what matters to them, what they like and what they dislike, what are some challenges they're looking to tackle, what are some things they particularly liked, or what are some specific events that they're looking to attend. So sentiment in this case, very much that emotion, that feeling, or that opinion, and it's very, very important to monitor that, and it could really lead to better customer experience, better after sales experience, referrals, and overall a better trust building, and that brand positioning that we talk about is so important in such an interconnected world where a consumer, whether you're in the B2C, B2B, will look online. They will go online, they will research, they will look at your page and what other people have said about you. So this is just one piece of the puzzle that is becoming more and more important. Moving away from strictly social media, but here again, I've provided 2 examples to link it. I just wanted to move on to the last 2 aspects as from the 6 highlights that Rita had at the beginning. They go a little bit more about the data and the analytics. So testing is something that as marketeers we owe to do and we love doing very frequently. And whether you're testing images, whether you're testing a landing page, do you want a form? Do you don't want a form? You want a call to action, you want to learn more, you want something that's a little bit more bottom of the funnel, request a quote, or maybe on the website, you want to ask for a demo versus ask for some more information. All of these actually counts as A/B testing. And this is highly, highly, highly effective for optimizing various on-page elements, again, from images, menu layouts, call to action button. AI can not only help inform your experiment and try and give you data from your previous user-based data to set up the experiment, but then it will also help you analyze it throughout and start serving the best performing assets. So you know that you're always making the most of your experiment, and you'll be able to quite quickly determine the winner. Is no longer the time of 50-50. AI is there to help you make this A/B testing a lot more effective, and this will help you ensure you have a much higher click-through rates, whether you look at advertising, social media, organic social media posting, or even just a click-through rate from your website to a form submission, for example. It helps you leverage smart content. So if you know that your users have, let's say Rita's been on my website and she's looked at a specific product, next time she comes back, I can serve her content that will show how the product she's looked at 2 days ago is going to solve her issue. This is smart content, and it's all AI generated. It's all based on machine learning on what specific users have been onto the pages, and then providing them with content that's relevant to them. And this has been proven to fast track your sales cycle. Whether you are looking to make a sale on your website, whether you're looking to provide a quote, whether you're looking to recruit distributors, all of these A/B testing led by AI and analyzed by yourself are really been proven to support higher click-through rates, and then at the end of the day support sales and relationship building. One last piece here on predictive analytics, which is something I love. Data I find is extremely exciting. I was reading a report from Deloitte where they said that predictive analytics is defined as a discipline that utilizes modeling, data mining, statistics, AI, and machine learning to evaluate, as we said, both historical and real-time data. So is gathering as many data points as possible in order to make predictions about the future. So that little crystal ball that we used to see, it really is a reality now. So this means opportunities, huge opportunities to identify possible future trends across your industry and really be ahead of the curve with your promotion, with product launches, with your advertising, with the content on your website. In essence, predictive analytics uses machine learning and AI models to turn what you would see like a lot of disparate data from a variety of sources, whether that's your social media, your website, surveys, anything that you can gather, going back to Rita's point, provided the best possible data and as much possible data, uses all of that to turn all of that into actionable insights, giving your organization the ability to plan for the road ahead and make the most possible informed decisions. These analysis of historical data, these tools can then be used to predict types of behavior, patterns, including how to allocate resources, whether human resources or budget resources in advertising budgets, when to increase staffing or when to restock items, for example, as well. So according to a research firm here, Aberdeen, that I quoted, company identifying customer needs through predictive analytics have been seen to increase their organic revenue by 21% year on year. So we don't even talk about advertising or monetizing your efforts. Organic, compared to an average of 12%. So over nearly 12% more organic revenue if you use predictive analytics. So it sounds scary. I know that the word is it's a mouthful, but really AI is here to help, and by leveraging this, there is a lot to be gained in the long run in that road ahead, as they call it. Before really wrapping up this marketing section, and before handing back to Susanna to do a quick recap and really share some practical tips, I just wanted to share some very quick and very top level, but allowing you guys to walk away with some do and don'ts on AI. The first one, do not under or overestimate what AI can really do. It's a super powerful tool. There is a lot they can do. The trick really is to understand how to control them. At one point, it needs that human input. So make sure that you understand where the information is coming from. Make sure you understand how to provide the prompts. And I know Susanna's got some tricks for us coming up to really make sure that you're not asking the wrong question. You know, make sure that you know how to phrase your question, make sure that you know how to look at the data. You know, AI is just as good at giving you data back as the better the question, the better the answer, so to speak. So not knowing the value of being right or the cost of being wrong, here again, a bit of a mouthful, but I just want, as Rita mentioned, make sure that you evaluate the content. Everything the AI does is based on data, is based on what we ask them to do, but there is still the need to very much validate, review, and if you're in doubt, A/B test, ask another question and see if the results you get back is somewhat similar to what the first time you got the first time and what you'd expect to hear back.
Joelle, fantastic. Before we launch into sort of questions and things, I do want to launch another poll. Basically, if you're interested in learning more about online marketing and AI, let us know. We're happy to send you through some, we can send you through some, what's it called, blogs and infographics and some work we've done on that. So let us know if you would like to get in touch or not. And again, thank you very much for being so fast on the buttons to click there. As I said, we can send you through or get back to you if you have an interest, and we'd like to do that. Thank you all very much for click that voting. I'm going to close that poll now and just sort of wrap up a little bit with some sort of practical tips. I think there's some obvious conclusions that we've come up with. Both Rita and Joelle have really, I think, emphasized very much some core principles. How useful as a productivity tool, as a draft tool, as a predictive tool AI can be. How often it needs human intervention. The challenge, the limitations of using AI for marketing. So let's look at some of those ones. I couldn't resist this picture of I mean, you've probably all seen it already, but Elon Musk in this puffer jacket and the Pope in the puffer jacket. It's just so good. I think the point really made by Rita and Joel is that you need to know when to use AI and when to pass. Not every task is going to be right for an AI tool. Anything that requires real creativity, originality, an opinion, a perspective won't yield good results on its own. Don't use AI for controversial things as well. I mean, we step away from those politics. Is our recommendation, but we don't even go there. And then, most of all, if a fact feels off, if you read something and say that sounds very odd, check it. It's up to you. It's your content. It remains your property. You need to check it. The number one challenge cited by marketeers is that AI tools sometimes produce inaccurate information known as hallucinations, like this picture of the Pope in the Pope jacket. Fact-checking information from AI tools, cite your sources of information, your content. Head over back to Google and back to the YouTubes of the world and find reputable sources that proves the point that you're making. The more recent the data, the better. Remember that a lot of programs like ChatGPT can only pull content from the internet that's at least 2 years old. And then know the line between using AI in marketing to kick off creativity, to kick off thoughts, to streamline processes, and plagiarism. There is a very strong line between that. So you need to work with your teams to determine what percentage of the content needs to be changed before you can even call it your own. And remember what Rita was saying there about plagiarism and Google, how Google is now sort of penalizing AI-driven, it's only AI content through that weird acronym EEAT, was it? So there's a lot of bias as well. That's in the way these things are produced. So it's great for many things. When it comes to producing accurate information, it can be hit and miss. So be careful on that. There's a couple of best practices, I would say, in terms of editing as well that you might want to look at, and really that's about how do you edit good content? And on the next slide, I just listed a couple of things that you might want to think about. AI can write natural human-sounding language, but it doesn't have what's called a voice. It doesn't necessarily have the character, the voice of the company that you're writing. So when we're writing things for our clients, we really spend a lot of time thinking about the voice of that company, of that client. What are their values, what are their missions, what is their voice, their personality. AI doesn't do that very well yet. That's where you come in. You infuse the content with personality, brand, voice. So that can come in the form of anecdotes, colloquial expressions, historic things that AI might not have pulled, and things. AI doesn't always do a good example with a good job with examples either. It can be very vague sometimes. You want to put your point across in a very pointed way, and it's being very vague, and the examples they cite are out of date, things. So careful on that. And then some things, knowing this, AI, save AI for those really tedious aspects of creating content, like repetitive things. You spend your time on the value add. I wanted to leave you also with some like prompting hints. So we've highlighted sort of 5 big writing prompts on for generative AI. Generative AI is things like Jasper, ChatGPT, and so on. So some of the ones that on the screen you'll see, I just listed 5 of them. So the first one I would say is be specific. Write about, an example, how to be not specific. Write about technology, and then to be specific, say how many words you want it, in what format, in what part of technology, in which effect. Be as specific as possible. And linked to that is reiterating and refining it. So you start by asking some, say a ChatGPT or something to write a 200-word article discussing blah, blah, blah. But then you say, now make that into a blog post, and then give specifications about each type that you're finding, and just reiterate and refine the content. It helps for generative AI if you use examples and say, in the style of this. So the example I've given here is, write a blog post in a catchy style about remote work, like from pajamas to profits, or embracing the home office, something like that, so that ChatGPT will mimic that style of prompt. And the next one, really the fourth one, test out different approaches on it. The written thing that I've written now, write an article about time management, blah, blah. You test that out and see how it works, and then say, write it in this way, write it in that way, and you'll get different responses. It doesn't take long, as it's almost instantaneous reaction to in Jasper and these generative AI platforms. And then finally, remember that AI is a conversational. It is programmed to be conversational. Therefore, it is expecting you to have a dialogue. It is expecting you to reiterate things. So, dive deeper into the topics, go further on, repeat that again, and so on. And that's the better way to get good responses from a ChatGPT or a generative AI. Right, I wanted then to leave you some takeaways, next steps. We also got quite a few questions coming in, which I love. Bring in the questions. Yes. I guess the first takeaway is what we said at the beginning there. The world is online. You remember those numbers that Joelle and Rita were talking about? Said nearly 5 billion, 4.5 billion people on the planet are using social media every day for an average of 2.5 hours every day. So out of 8 billion on the planet, 5 billion are online, 4.5 are using social media. So make sure that your localized websites, your online marketing is working really hard for you. Make sure that those tools are working very hard for you. Then it's important also, as I'm emphasizing that point, sales are changing, though the way people are doing business is changing. Millennials and Gen Z are becoming, they're climbing up the ranks. They expect to see fantastic websites. They expect to find you on LinkedIn or the platform that they want to use, whichever platform that is. They will judge your company by your online digital presence. And that's really important to make sure that your online presence is working hard for you, that it incorporates the latest technologies, and that you're really up to scratch with it for your domestic and your international markets. So really, digital strategies in that sense are no longer a nice to have. They're an absolute necessity for them. And I guess sort of, just reiterating really, from our perspective, we're also talking our book. This is what we do. We build websites and we do online marketing, and we are beginning to use some AI in a very effective way, we think, to help productivity, to help our clients with their social media, with their online presence, although always the human being is always the dominant one for that. And then finally, just we do have these online global programs which are really designed, for companies. All of them are designed about top line growth. We're here to build your sales. We're here to build your exports. So that's why we've designed these programs specifically for website management, for website build, and for online marketing, building up your export sales brand and business. With that, I'm going to turn over to our some questions. Before I do, just bear with me. I was going to ask one last poll, which is that if any of you do want to learn more about those online global programs, let us know. We'll be again happy to send you an email, which sort of gives some descriptions and gives some information about the online global programs, and many of them also are eligible for grant funding across the U.S. And in Canada, depending on which state and what type of, depending on your application and if you're valid for it. But many of our clients actually are eligible for grant funding, which is always an interesting thing as well. And again, thank you so much for those quick and enthusiastic responses to that poll. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to close that poll, and we've actually got quite a few questions that have come in. I'm going to sort of just throw them out. I think I was going to go, Joelle, you first. What would you recommend to generate imagery for AI? Is there a best-in-class AI that companies can use for imagery? There was like 3 questions that came in with this, by the way. Or with a graphic design or image generator AI applications do you like, and which would you recommend? So.
Absolutely. As Susanna mentioned, there are tons of tools out there to explore, but we have tried and tested. So we have graphic designers in-house, and again, I'll spare you the debate on they're not overly thrilled with some of those, and how there is discussions about authorship and creation. But the two that we like and we've experimented the most with is DALL-E. So same family, so to speak, of ChatGPT, and a very fun name because DALL-E is a plain word. If you're familiar with, obviously, Salvador Dali and Wall-E, Walt Disney Wall-E. So that is it works, is very smart, intuitive, easy to use. I'd say give it a go. And the other one is called Midjourney. Again, is the idea that you need to have some fun in asking them some prompts and see what it comes back. But if you need to be very specific on what you ask and have a clear idea of kind of what you want back, and then obviously mindfully use it in terms of of where that will live on your social media. Make sure you got the right specs. But those would be the two that would that I'd like to put forward: DALL-E and Midjourney.
Great, thank you very much. Rita, you've mentioned plagiarism a few times, and the Google EETA Do you have any
PEAT.
recommendations on identifying and dealing with plagiarisms for your marketing campaigns, or how do you deal with it?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, Google says that AI generated content is against guidelines and it can be penalized. So they have algorithms that can detect and demote AI altered plagiarized contents. But there are tools out there that can help you have an idea of the plagiarism percentage if you ever generate content from AI. So to name a few tools, I would say CopyLeaks is a really good one. AI content detector is a good one as well, but you'll find plenty out there on Google just by typing plagiarism AI detector.
Okay. Okay. So there are AIs that detect AI. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Great. Just ping ponging to you, Joelle. Generative AI is supposed to boost productivity. You gave lots of examples to boost productivity. Both of you mentioned this in your presentations. Is there any data that shows how? Is there any data to show this or prove this?
As you can imagine, there is a lot of research going into that, a lot of talk about it, and there's been a very good report released by HubSpot, who run a survey actually in early May 2023, so fresh off the press, and they found by interviewing all these companies and marketeers that the estimated saving is equal to, I think it's roughly 12 hours a month, which would then tally up to 26 days a year. And as Susanna, you mentioned, this is taking time and, optimizing all of those repetitive tasks, anything that, used to take hours to write, validate content and try and replicate, get stuck because of a blog. So 26 days a year, that is, in my in my point of view, a pretty good, productivity saving, allowing marketeers to then spend those 26 days optimizing campaigns and putting the creativity to use, whilst AI can then do the the replication of that content.
Yeah, terrific. Rita, Rita, one of your slides mentioned that Google penalizes AI-generated content on websites. What about for social media? Does it penalize? Does it penalize, for example, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc.? Do they penalize AI-generated content on posts?
So there are no research for now that claims that Meta or any other social media platform penalize AI. Only Google mentioned it officially so far. I actually feel like it's quite the opposite with Meta, with the increase of AI influencers accounts on Instagram that have like millions of followers. But in terms of social media posts, if you're using AI to generate content, I would recommend to always use the plagiarism tools that I have mentioned earlier, and always add your creativity too.
Great, thank you very much. One person also has caught me out on something I said. ChatGPT, in fact, has the internet, or the data it pulls is up until 2021, not 2022. So apologies for saying 2022. It is in fact 2021. There's a lot more questions coming in, but they're quite specific for individual people. So I'm thinking perhaps we're going to answer those ones specifically to you via email, if that's okay. We did say we'd get you back before the hour, and it's so we've all got time for a quick cup of tea or a cup of coffee before our next meetings. So 5 minutes, we're getting you back to your desk within 5 minutes of the hour. I wanted to thank Joelle and Rita for a fantastic presentation with lots and lots of information. And yes, you will be getting a copy of the slide deck in due course tomorrow with the recording. And most of all, I want to thank you all for joining us, for taking the time out today to spend a moment and talk about AI, how it affects marketeers, how marketeers are using it in today's world. It's actually a pretty symbiotic relationship. It's a relationship that requires a lot of knowledge on different platforms, how they interact, how to use them best, how to optimize them, It is not a simple equation, I think, as you've seen from Joelle and from our experts, Joelle and Rita. Thank you all so much. Happy to see you all online. Delighted to see you all offline. Drop in when you're nearby. Take care, everybody, and take care, and thank you all very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.